Hi, my name is Michael Gilmour, and I'm the writer of Whizbang's blog. And let me tell you, once again, it's great to have Jackson Elsegood from Escrow.com here. Jackson, it's good to see you once more.
Pleasure to be here, Michael.
It's great. I couldn't help noticing the wallpaper behind you. Is that a whole lot of cockatoos or something like that sitting on the job?
Uh, I think it's cockatoos in a rainforest kind of thing. Look, escrow is not always the most exciting topic in the world, so these wallpapers definitely lighten up the office a little bit.
No, absolutely. But let me tell you, escrow is very exciting when you're wondering whether you're going to get your money if you go along and say use PayPal or something crazy like that for a big transaction. To me, it's
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
why would you use anything other than escrow? Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah, so you've been pretty busy. I believe you're heading off to domain in Europe. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of weeks' time going over there to speak a little bit about the
Yeah,
industry, about growth and some pretty exciting little niches in the industry that we get to see. Obviously, you get to see a huge number of transactions that aren't
yeah.
usually publicly disclosed. So always nice to release little snippets of that when we can.
That's great. I'm sure Dietmar and all the attendees will appreciate it. I must admit, I'm looking forward to being there myself. It's gonna be a great time. Really good conference. I enjoyed it immensely last year.
Yes, and being in Germany this year doesn't hurt. Last year in the Netherlands was a lovely scene, but a little cold and wet, and I think Germany is
Yes.
going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. I must admit, my wife's coming with me this time, so she's going to go and explore Berlin. Well, I earned some money, I think.
Well, that's become a habit for you. I think I saw your family at
Yeah.
Namescom this.
That's right. Yeah. So that they're all there, and it was really good. So as I said to some guys I was having a meeting with one year, where my wife walked past, that big long hallway at NamesCon, and she held up all these shopping bags and said, "Guess what? Look at this." She held it up. I turned back to the guys in the meeting and I said, "We've got to do this deal. I got to pay for all that." But anyway, it's good. Yeah. So what's been happening with escrow anyway?
We've had the last 3 months, basically since NamesCon, really focused on speed.
Yep.
So it's a lot of internal processes for us, making sure that our banking relationships are as smooth as possible, doing new integrations with with additional services so that we can provide wires out and wires in faster than ever before. That development is really still going on even to this minute. So we'll hold to see the results of that, but I hope to be able to talk about that a little bit more at Domain in Europe and
Yeah.
after that conference.
I must admit, that's what the question that a lot of domain investors have is that they've always wanted to get the transaction obviously progressing forward quicker and more securely. And so that's something you focused on the last few months.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we see is, how fast can we get a transaction started? When someone wants to sell you their domain, they want to know that that cash is there ready for them to send the auth code over or whatever as soon as possible. And of course, that leads to the temptation to just say, well, look, we'll just put this through PayPal. And of course, most people don't really appreciate that for 6 months after that transaction's closed, that PayPal transaction can be reversed on you, and of course Escrow.com guarantees that transaction so that can't happen. For us, getting an amount of money into an escrow account as quickly as possible means that deal can flow faster, and people can get the domains that they're purchasing a lot faster as well.
Yeah, I think that's an important issue. In fact, we're just talking beforehand about the fact that what sets Escrow.com apart from other businesses that propose to do escrow and things like that is the fact that you're actually audited by government authorities. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actually licensed all throughout the United States in various states. So each one of those states imposes their own regulation on us and their own strict audits. So we're actually audited, every few weeks by a different state who comes in, checks out our books, makes sure that everything is being held securely in a non-interest-bearing trust account. We're not using that, those funds on the market in any way, or investing them or doing anything like that, which is in stark contrast to an unlicensed escrow provider who really could be doing anything with your funds, lending it out off the books to other businesses, or really anything. It's really hard to tell without a government audit or without an independent audit conducted that money is really there and is safe.
So what you're saying is basically, like for all those, domainers, they have these rumors and everything like that, that escrow's got my money and they're earning money off it. That's just not true.
Yeah, absolutely. We're legally required to keep it in a non-interest-bearing account. So we can't move those funds into an interest-bearing account to make any kind of gain off it. In fact, the typical part that that people get that feeling is when the domain has transferred and we're reviewing the transaction to make sure that the buyer's got exactly what they need before we release their funds to the seller. There's absolutely no benefit to us in holding funds any longer than we can. So that's why these last 3 months have really been focused on the internal goal of speed in and out.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things you also looked at last year was a whole API-driven sales system and all that sort of stuff as well. And so how's that been going?
It's been really, really successful so far. So we basically had an API for a long time. It was underutilized because there was definitely some parts of it that needed some more work. And we've devoted a lot of time to, as I said, improving those internal systems and also making changes to that API that make it a lot more usable and a lot more, developer friendly.
Yeah.
So that's, little things like documentation for the API that's not particularly sexy, but then of course that allows you to do stuff like bulk sales, so you can upload a CSV now of all of your domains to make a bulk sale. You can bulk create buy it now buttons if you have a whole bunch of different landing pages that you'd like to put buy it now buttons on. You can do that. It also means that our marketplace partners have a lot better platform to integrate themselves with. So if you're running a newsletter or a marketplace, you can use Escrow.com service a lot easier than you could in the past.
That's fantastic. And I know towards the end of last year, you also dramatically expanded the support as well, and multilingual as well. Is that correct? How's that all been going?
Yeah, it's been good. Look, we've seen some drop off in the Chinese market for sure.
Yeah, I think everyone has.
Yeah, absolutely. We opened 2 new offices to support our customers, and that allowed us to access a lot more kind of local languages, so we could pick up support agents that could speak Chinese, as well as things like Russian that previously were pretty far away from our ability to support previously. So look, we've seen some great customers. It's always great to hear from a customer that says, look, I called up and my native language is Spanish. It was so nice to be able to speak to a Spanish-speaking support agent in my native language to discuss all of these sort of escrow-related terms that may not be easy to translate. And same out of the Chinese market, of course. Even though a lot of people who we get to deal with day to day can speak business English just fine, it's always more comfortable for them to speak in their native tongue. It just allows us to get those deals done quicker.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, completely understand that. And it'd be like if someone spoke German to me and I'm an English speaker, let me tell you, I wouldn't get very far. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's just important for whenever you're doing a high-end transaction, as we do on Escrow.com, we want to make this as smooth and as comfortable for every party in the transaction, and that includes the buyer and any stakeholders they might have that want to give us a call and find out, okay, I'm putting my money into this escrow account, I want to make sure that everything in the deal is legit. When they can hear a friendly voice on the other end of the line, that helps us to get a lot more deals done a lot more successfully.
Yeah. So just looking towards the future right now, without giving away trade secrets or anything, is there anything you could, like, any tidbits or so like you can give away and sort of say to the domain investors out there, guess what, there's some really good stuff coming, or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we do historically keep our product roadmap pretty close to our
Of
chest.
course, of course.
That's because we like to make sure that the quality is 100% before we let everything out.
Yeah.
Definitely, some of the parts that we're focused on are integrating with marketplaces more closely. So being able to give our marketplace customers more assurance that their transactions are being taken care of, and also to our individual customers, allow them more flexibility in how their accounts are set up. I might leave it at just those two little things. I know it's a bit of a teasing hint rather than a full roadmap, but yeah, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the stuff that's coming out in the next couple of months.
I must admit that I sprung that one on you, didn't I? So that's fine.
It's all good. It's all good.
But let me.
This is what I get to do all day. So it's always a pleasure to talk to the engineers about it. It's always a pleasure to talk to our customers about it. It's a pleasure to talk to you about it.
Fantastic. No, I must admit, like, one of the things that I love talking to you on a regular basis, but one of the things that really sparked my interest was I received an email saying that you guys have just won a Torch Award for ethics. And a Torch Award is by the BBB, is that correct, out of the US?
Yeah, so one of the organizations that we deal with on a voluntary basis is the Better Business Bureau. They're basically an organization out of the United States that polices business practices and allows you to sort of distinguish yourself as an organization that has all of its licenses in place, but as well, acts in an ethical manner in regards to, partners, customers, vendors, and your internal staff. So we basically have an ongoing relationship with them that we were really pleased to see come out of this Torch Award. It's their biggest award around the year. It's presented every year. So we were really excited to receive that one. Definitely having customers come up to the BBB and provide their testimonials for us for that particular award was phenomenal. And so look, it's an interesting one to be awarded an ethics award. It feels like something that's just so deeply ingrained in our DNA that I couldn't imagine Escrow.com acting in a way that wouldn't be in line with an ethics award, but it's nice to be recognized.
No, of course. Like, for those of you who are wondering, like, is this a Mickey Mouse award or something like that? Let me just read out something from this. Its judging was performed by an independent panel from the BBB, which included Alan Ross, the Professor of Business and Public Policy at UC Berkeley House School of Business, Lan Wu, PhD of Associate Professor of Marketing at the College of Business and Economics of CSU East Bay, Alex Alexander, West Point at Harvard Business School graduate and author of The Entrepreneur's Edge, and Reverend Dr. David Moore, pastor at Trinity Lutheran Church at Walnut Creek. Entrants were judged on criteria including industry leadership, communication, performance management, and commitment to the community. Like, they're serious people who are judging. This is not some sort of like, I got this off the back of a cornflakes packet. This is something, I know as Australians we tend to downplay things, but that's actually real. Like, this organization's been going for like 100 years.
Yeah, the BBB is incredibly reputable in all of the markets that we do business in, and especially from our San Francisco office. For that to be a recognition provided to our head office in San Francisco is really a good one. I'd be lying if I said that talking to that panel and and filling out the entry and all of that kind of stuff was an easy one. It definitely they want to know a lot about your business, but we've had a very long-standing relationship with the BBB, so really great to finally pick up one of these awards after so many years.
Absolutely. And by the way, you're allowed to smile at this point because like you've got the award, which is great. Like but it's not just you though. I know you'd be the first to say it's the whole escrow team.
Yeah, 100%. And I full credit to the account managers, to the customer support team, and to the payments team. We see transactions go through, thousands of them every week. So there is always something new about a transaction, something that's different, something that's a challenge. And these teams sit down together and figure out what the right thing to do is for all the customers, the buyer, the seller, and the broker, and I have the utmost confidence in their decision making. So look, full credit to them. I can't take too much of it for myself, but yeah, a fabulous award, and it'll be displayed in the San Francisco office with a great deal of pride.
Yeah, because the other thing I noticed about the award, that wasn't just like a business award; it was an ethics award. To me, ethics like go beyond business. That's the sort of the overarching sort of philosophy of the organization, is really what the ethics are all about, and that really struck me. So that's why when I got this, I thought, gee, I've got to have a chat to Jackson. Hopefully, he's in the country still. So
Yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, so it's congratulations once again. I think it's awesome to have a business which has not just been recognized by our industry, like the domain industry, because you're such an important part of the domain industry. It's almost like you're the oil to make sure the transactions actually happen. Um,
Yeah.
but it's not just that, it's been recognized externally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we operate across a whole bunch of different industries.
Yeah.
Obviously, the domaining industry is near and dear to my heart. It's definitely where we spend our most time. It's where most of our product development goes towards. And explaining that to a panel of judges that hasn't necessarily been involved in the industry is definitely a little bit of a difficult one. But I think good ethics and good business practices translate across all industries. And whether you're selling cattle farming equipment, a car, or a domain, realistically, people want to know that when they put their $50,000 into an account, someone else's account, that money is safe, and that it's only going to be used the way that they direct. And that's really all in the Escrow.com brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what a lot of domain owners need to understand is the more ethically we operate, then actually the higher the value of our domains. Because and when we get recognized externally, then people don't view us as cyber squatters and all that sort of stuff, but we're actually investors in this particular rare commodity called domain names. And when we have such an organization like Escrow.com recognized in this way, it actually increases the value of all of our domains, and also as a recognition of the industry as well.
Yeah, I would say that the escrow, in terms of its involvement in the domains industry, definitely plays a pretty key role. But I'd say the domains industry as a whole is one where ethics are pretty well regarded. We're dealing with an intangible good. We're dealing on people's reputation. You're dealing with a lot of trust all the time. I'd say that given the number of opportunities in the industry for something to be done that wouldn't be called ethical, on the whole, the industry really operates very ethically and is pretty good at self-policing. I mean, the way that people call out someone who's acting unethically is really, it's swift and it's very deliberate. It is really the one or two bad actors that occasionally bring things down, but it really is, on the whole, I think, an incredibly well organized and well policed activity and industry. And full credit to that to all of the industry associations that really set the guidelines for how to do business online.
Yeah, I must admit, I love this industry. Like it's such a hotbed of entrepreneurial activity, and you meet some amazing people. But as you said, I think that on the whole, those people are great to work with,
Yeah,
and it's
amazing hustlers.
yeah, exactly. And I've been doing this now I've been in the industry for probably over 16 years in the domain industry, and that's why I've got a bit of grey hair here. Though it'll happen to you one day, Jackson. But anyway, it's
The hair dye is working out well.
But I just want to say congratulations once again. It's great to see Escrow.com being recognized in this way. And can I just say it's wonderful talking with you as always. Is there anything else you'd like to add at all before we sign off?
Michael, I can't wait to talk to you again Domain in Europe, and looking forward to a German beer or two.
That sounds great. I look forward to it. I'll see you there.
See you there.
Okay, see you later. Bye.